With Texas lawmakers failing to finish their work during the legislative session, Governor Abbott is expected to call everyone back to work very soon.
But the leader of the Texas Senate, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, says his key issues like property tax relief and the so-called bathroom bill could be up to voters. KXAN's Phil Prazin sat down with him to talk about the importance of the 2018 election.
Why not just chalk up a win and let everybody go home?
Well, again, we passed all 30 of our priorities out of the Senate. 20 of them in one form or the other will become law. But property taxes that passed the Senate again and Texas privacy that passed the Senate again are two important issues to the public, and they didn't pass.
Lieutenant Governor Patrick says the person who stopped those items was Speaker of the House Joe Strauss. He feared a business backlash if they restricted bathroom use to biological sex. The Speaker wanted to address property tax relief by increasing the amount of money the state gives to education. But Patrick says if the Speaker would put his issues up for a vote in the House, they would pass.
I can't imagine a Republican, at least who wants to get reelected, voting against helping to reform and slow down the growth of property taxes. So I think it would pass.
The ballot box is where this is all headed. The closer the special session is to next year's Republican primary, the more pressure will be on lawmakers to act.
At some point, I think at some point the members of the House will say, wait a minute, enough's enough. Because look, all the House members are up for election every 2 years. They're all up for election. They're going to go home and people are going to say, I want property tax relief. I don't want my son and daughters showering together in 10th grade. What'd you do about it?
Lawmakers just left town Monday, but they could soon be back in Austin when Governor Abbott gives the word. Phil Prazin, KXAN News.
A spokesperson for Speaker Strauss tells KXAN he is proud of the House's effort to lower property taxes by setting aside more state money for education. He says it could have kept more local tax dollars in local school districts like Austin ISD. In less than a year, voters will have a chance to give their views on how the state government is performing. The Texas primary is scheduled for March the 6th of 2018. That's just more than 9 months away. And all of the major state leaders will be up for re-election. That includes Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Governor Greg Abbott, and Speaker of the Texas House Joe Strauss.
Protesters over the so-called anti-sanctuary city bill pointed to the election yesterday. Signs were spotted at the Capitol saying they would see lawmakers at the polls. The bill passed allows law enforcement to ask about a person's immigration status when they are detained. It also threatens sheriffs and police chiefs with jail time if they do not work with federal authorities. Another thing that needs to be addressed potentially in a special session is some sunset bills that were not passed. Here's why they matter. Created in 1977, the Texas Sunset Act set up a schedule of commissions to review state agencies. Every dozen years, the commissions determine whether a state agency should get the axe or not. The State Medical Board, which licensed doctors in Texas, is probably the biggest one not to get reauthorization this session. That bill died in the House and is most likely to be included in a special session. The Behavioral Health Sunset Bill would have created a new council. It would oversee all counselors, psychologists, and social workers. It would also take over regulation of treatment providers for sex offenders. For a complete look at the session that was passed and what did not, the bills, and what we could see in a special session coming up, you can check out the politics section at KXAN.com.